You are alive. Da 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 do. Yeah da 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 do. Yeah da do da 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 do 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 da do 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 do. Yeah da dee 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 da 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 do. We're waiting for Father to show up. I want him to start as on time as possible.
What are we doing?
We are talking. Welcome. We're live.
We're live.
We're
Hello,
live.
world. Does the podcast officially start yet?
What?
Did it start yet? Start
No,
yet?
I was waiting for you.
Start yet?
I was waiting for you. There we go. We've got the guitar.
The Geeter. Get your Geeter.
Geeter done.
I'm choking myself here. Wait.
Geeter done.
Twang. We'll call this D. That was not D. That was not D. I apologize for that, all you D fans. That was better.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
For my next number, we'll start with D. That's all I got.
Cool. Shall we start?
Let's start. This has been a good week, so let's start.
Actually, it is kind of. Mostly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stream of Consciousness, a Rubber Mushroom podcast. I'm Turtle Cube. I'm here with Turtle Dad.
I'm Turtle Dad, and I'm here with Turtle Cube.
Sadly, we don't have the new art yet.
No, we
It's
don't.
supposed to be here.
But
The
that's-
artist is working on it. I'm getting update pictures, but she's had a lot of IRL stuff happen, so the art's slower than expected.
That's okay.
But we can deal with that. That's fine. I want to know how your week went.
My week went good. My week was a good week. I guess we could say it was a good week. No week is really a bad week. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
We live in a first world
I was
country.
just-
How bad can it be?
If I was going through a week and then, like, my mom died, that'd be a bad week.
Yeah, okay. I can go with that. I know your mom.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, I would identify that as a bad week.
But most weeks are very good,
Most ways,
no matter how badly they go.
You know what I can ask you?
Yes, you can. Yes, I do. But what are you going to ask me?
What were you thinking?
How many cups of coffee did I have today?
I noticed you didn't have one now.
No, I didn't. I've been trying to cut down and stay in single-digit cups of coffee per day.
So that when you go on vacation starting tomorrow, you can just have like 7 a day.
Many as I want.
And you'd be totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I could ask you how the last 2 weeks have been, because it's been, I think, 2 weeks since we streamed.
Why didn't we stream last week? Oh, did I talk about what we were doing last week?
You were busy and I wasn't feeling great.
Yeah, right. Okay, that worked out really well.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks. I guess, I can't remember.
The average goes down.
I can't remember the last week.
My last week was definitely better than my last 2 weeks ago.
Last 2 weeks ago. Your most recent week was better than your previous week.
Yes.
Got it. I can't remember any like detrimental things that happened, like really bad, like nothing. So I mean, they were all okay. We're making progress on the garage project.
That is true.
That's a
good
good
thing.
thing.
Very, very true.
That made this week good.
Detrimental stuff that I had lots of work stress, which isn't great. And just generally being really busy, which kind of made it hard to get things done. I'm kind of falling behind in a couple of the not as important things, but the fact that I'm falling behind is annoying a little bit. But it's not as important. I'm trying to figure out my priorities. Priorities are hard to figure out. But this last week has been fantastic.
Good.
I started making music.
With who?
Froyo.
Froyo and Turtle.
Yep.
Fro-Turtle. Fertile.
Toyo.
Toyo. Toyo is better than Fertile.
Fertile. Fertile sounds like Fertile sounds like a Dr. Seuss villain.
You can't really say fertile. Look how much effort that takes.
Yeah.
Fertile. You can't. But Toyo, that rolls right off the tongue.
Toyo sounds like you're mispronouncing a Japanese city.
Right. but it's much easier to say Toyo than fertile. So I'm going with Toyo.
That was funny.
Or Froyo, I guess.
But yeah, my last week has been pretty good.
Good.
And I have topics for today. Do you want to jump right into topics?
What else could we do?
I'll talk about this, that, and the other thing. Kind of elaborate on how our weeks have been. Complain a little bit about first world problems.
I went into the
Talk
office.
about Qatar.
I went into the office twice. Was it twice this week? Twice last week. Twice 1 week, which was a record for me since pandemic. But we've hired so many people that if we were all to go into the office at the same time, there would not be enough room.
Is that why you're moving?
Actually, that is why they're finding more room. I think they're
Okay.
keeping the space they're at and finding new space.
Oh,
in addition to
second building.
Yeah, but it's in the same campus.
Okay.
So it's like a couple of buildings, or like a half mile away. It's not far.
Yeah.
So maybe might be a different campus, but it's not far.
Not far.
So
okay.
yes. So that's going to happen. Hopefully, I want to say July or August, but I have no official knowledge of that. So
Nice.
So I don't.
Nice. That's awesome though.
And I met all my coworkers in person for the first time.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's another first for me.
How long did that take?
6 months.
No, I mean like going through meeting them all individually.
Oh, about that, not that long.
Let's speed run this. Hi. All right, cool. We're done. I'm hoping to get new coworkers soon.
You heard? Hiring more people?
Hope so.
So the mail must go through?
Yes. But the city side of the route of the building is also really short on people as well. Because we're still filling in from people who retired over the last year and promoting a bunch of the people who've been there a while. But there's more people being promoted than are being hired.
More people being promoted than are being... Oh, that's okay. That works.
No, because it means you're running out of part-timers.
They're becoming full-timers.
Right.
So that's good.
Right. Good for the full-timers.
Yes. Not good for the part-timers.
Not good for the full-timers.
Not good for the full-timers. Why?
With less part-timers, they have fewer people to cover shifts, cover days off, cover everything.
So they can't get days off.
Right.
Why is this bad for you, the part-timer?
Because they're like, oh, instead of splitting you have 5 days off. I don't know, just making up numbers for the city and stuff. You have 5 days off, and you have, 4 carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So one of you is doing 2 days, but we can do that. Oh, but now you get promoted, and now you get promoted. But since you both are promoted to full-time now, now we need 7 days off. Oh, but now there's only 3 carriers to cover the 7 days off.
3 people to cover the 7 days off. Everybody takes 2, and there's one extra.
Right. But that's the thing. Instead of, everybody having 1 and one person having 2, everybody has 2, one person has 3.
Ah, I see. Well, there's more money involved.
More money involved, yes, but it just generally makes things harder.
Okay.
Much less flexible. And more difficult. Generally just more difficult.
Need to find friends who want jobs.
I'm trying. Alright, quick question.
Yes.
Last week, would that have been week with mouse or week without mouse?
Week without mouse, because I haven't learned Morse code yet.
So this week is week without mouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
No mouse. Who the amazing mouse? I see her name right there. There she is.
Wait, I did not know you sent her coffee, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, actually,
she
I think I
was-
sent her a mug.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
a mug. Sorry, you sent her a mug. But she was talking about having a mug, and I'm like, wait, you have like a rubber mushroom mug? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like,
Oh, so thank
who
you.
sent it to you? She's like, oh, I thought it was you. I'm like, I don't think so. She's like, I went to the amazing Who Mouse. I'm like, oh, that's totally Dad.
It was a thank you for playing all those games with me. That's all. Yes.
So that's why
Thank
she
you,
changed
Mouse.
her name.
Oh, I see.
Because the
I
mug
saw
came
it
in.
somewhere else. I must have seen it somewhere else.
Probably there if you ever checked that
Yeah.
again.
Fingers don't want to play tonight.
Alright, you want the topic?
I do want the topic.
Windows 11.
Yes, I've heard about Windows 11.
Yes.
Yes.
I saw today that it was announced yesterday.
Yes, coming out sometime this year, eventually.
Coming out sometime this year eventually, so that hopefully they can give it to Windows 10 people for free by holidays.
Yes. My machine should be able to upgrade to it.
I think most should.
Yes, it's new enough. I'm pretty sure it should.
Yeah, I think most can.
Yeah.
Unless
And-
you're like
Really, like my
Really?
old, like my old one.
really.
My
Yeah.
old one could upgrade to Windows 10, which I was surprised about that. But anyway,
So, what do you think about it?
I really haven't seen. Well, I shouldn't say I haven't seen. I've seen some screenshots of it, but from what I was reading, it's more. I don't know. It's more UI changes and some new utilities and stuff than anything that seemed like to catch my. Oh, I must have that feature. I didn't see an. Oh, I must have that feature in it.
I have an article on
Okay, because
it that I didn't pull up on stream.
I was
because it's
hoping-
on my phone.
I was hoping for an. Oh, I must have that feature, and I didn't. Now, granted, I did not do like thorough research into Windows 11, so I didn't. I just kind of glanced over the articles, but
do. Now I will say with the UI and all the graphic stuff and whatnot, it is kind of what I felt with Windows 10.
why bother?
You're just looking like Apple now. Why?
When you have an interface that works, go for it.
But I don't like the Apple interface.
I didn't say I did. I don't know. Well, hey, as I told you before, Windows and Apples and Android, the interfaces are looking more and more similar.
Exactly.
And
But Android and Windows are going much more towards the Apple route because they're like, oh, this is super user friendly. It's like, but I don't want super user friendly.
as long as they keep my right click abilities and give me
Yeah.
the ability to get to a DOS prompt,
Yep.
I'm happy.
Yep.
None of this. I can't find the. Like, no, just, and please keep the USB ports.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
with this, people?
But that's not a software thing.
Understood.
So, but the whole having the start menu and everything in the middle of the screen, that is super Apple. That is
I don't care where they put.
super.
That's one of those things like, Did they spend a lot of time figuring out to put it in the middle of the screen? I certainly hope not, because it's really a don't care decision.
No.
It's like, maybe it looks
But-
better artsy wise, but it's like, yeah, that's a don't care. It's like,
The whole widgets thing they're bringing back.
not familiar with exactly what that means. The whole widgets thing.
It was introduced on, from what I remember, it was introduced on Vista,
Yeah.
and then it was on
Vista died a horrible death.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it was on 7,
Mm.
but not very many people used it.
7 was pretty good. I don't remember it. Yeah, widgets.
Because
I'm familiar with widgets in Android.
It's literally that.
That's
You
not-
can have a calendar, you can have a map, you can have weather, just kind of live,
That's
just
not-
a little
yeah, that's
thing
not-
on
that's-
your screen.
That's not a bad
Which
thing.
I think it's kind of
That's
cool.
kinda
You used to be able to do that on Vista.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was one of the few things that I kind of liked.
Didn't know that.
Another thing they're adding, UI wise, is they're adding a snap grid.
I'm familiar with the snap grid when you're making code, but I don't know.
Well,
what a
pretty much, you know
snap
how
grid
I
is.
can take a window and I can bring it to the side of the screen. It's like, do you want to cover
Yeah,
this half
yeah.
of the screen? I can bring it down. And
Yeah.
I can do there. When you do that, I'm
Yeah.
trying to find a picture of it exactly to
That's kind of cool.
show you. I forget
But
where it went. Oh, here it is. Can't say this on stream, but I'm showing that there are different grid layouts you can choose from when you snap it to a corner,
oh, that's kind of cool.
and it will remember that every time you open the program.
That's kind of cool. I like that feature.
So you can say, okay, I want this, whenever I want this program to open, I want it to open in this grid layout in this specific corner,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
that goes cross-monitor.
That's nice.
So that's a really cool feature. Also, Teams is being completely 100% integrated into Windows
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
and pretty much booting out Skype.
Was wondering about that. Whatever happened with Skype? It's like
Yeah, they're kicking out Skype.
nobody uses Skype,
No,
so that's okay. I won't miss Skype.
no. A lot more flow between regular Windows, desktop Windows, and touchscreen and stuff. So no more stupid lags and things dying when you try and flip it into tablet mode.
I've never had a tablet to do that, so I don't know. I've never had that problem.
When it works, is cool,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always work. However, this will allow it to work more seamlessly with pens,
Oh, okay.
so you can draw on things. Another really, really interesting thing that they're doing
Mhm.
is Windows 11 will have seamless running of Android apps.
It'll run Android apps.
It will run it just
Oh no, I like that.
native.
I like that. That's
Native
cool.
run in. You can open the Android store
And get an Android app.
and get Android apps directly onto your
Well,
computer.
you can get Linux apps onto Windows in their Linux subsystem,
Mhm.
which I've done. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So you open up a little subsystem, you set it up, you put your operating system in, and you can just go and load Linux apps. And so I like that.
No subsystem.
I like that. Well, however they do it behind
Yeah.
the covers, I don't care. But
No, but
however they do it.
You can literally. There's a little picture here. They have TikTok, which is an Android app, open directly next to the Xbox app,
Great. That's great.
and it's just they're both running right there, which is that I think is pretty cool. And the way they're doing it, they announced that it's not going to be a Microsoft Store thing, because the whole Microsoft Store thing, anything that's sold through the Microsoft Store, Microsoft gets a little bit of the, whatever.
Yeah.
They're just giving you access to the Android store. Microsoft gets nothing from this.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Which you don't see very often.
No, but what it does.
Apple will never do that.
No.
Apple will never be like, yeah, you can have Android
Okay,
stuff.
so now wait a minute. This is I think a huge potential boost for Microsoft, sort of, because you've got Apple people
Mhm.
who only are going to run Apple stuff. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the world is going to run
Android.
Android or Windows or
Yep.
some combination of those two.
Not Apple.
So not Apple, right? Exactly. So it's kind of combining the Android, Windows, Linux OS
Mhm.
people. Although Linux OS people are their own people who just think their only real operating system is Linux and everything else doesn't matter. But they're snobs like that sometimes. And so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this really does for Microsoft though. It kind of groups the Android Windows group. Okay. But it's not going to pull any Apple people over.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I do not know exactly what it does for Microsoft because they're not making any money off of it. They have some sort of deal with what companies was it? It was Find the companies. Amazon and Intel.
Okay.
Microsoft is partnering with Amazon and Intel
Why
to get Android apps running seamlessly on Windows 10
Why
natively using Intel Bridge.
Why Amazon?
Does Amazon own Intel?
Nope. Amazon? What's their part in this?
I don't know.
Google makes Android.
Yeah, it said that this article, it's from The Verge, says Microsoft is partnered with Amazon and Intel.
I get the Intel part. Doesn't make sense about the Amazon part.
I do not know exactly why. I also do not know what part of that deal makes it a good thing for Microsoft to do, because there's no reason for them to. But it's a really cool thing.
Oh, it's cool for me. Yeah.
It's you can run any Android app you want. Just bloop on Windows.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
So have they made it tie into Android phones better?
Possibly.
That would be
That might be part of it.
That would be a cool feature.
Yeah.
I like that. If I could run my Android apps on
Yeah.
Windows, but the same app, the one I'm running on the phone, so I get the same data that's saved on the phone.
I don't know if
that
you
would
can
be
do
cool.
that.
Yeah, that
I
would
don't
be
know
cool.
if you can.
Okay.
I bet if you log into the Android store,
Mm-hmm.
you could cross save.
Maybe it would. Oh, now that
I
would
bet
be
you could
interesting.
do that.
But again, what's the advantage? What's the monetary advantage?
I don't know.
They're companies. They don't care about us. All they want is money.
I don't know.
So okay, I know how that works.
Maybe they think it'll raise sales.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What's your take on that, listening audience?
I mean, also you say, oh, they only care about money, but they like the Windows 10 update, they're giving away this Windows 11 update for free for Windows 10 users. So obviously they don't want money as much as Apple does.
Well, I wouldn't I wouldn't go that far. Windows is Microsoft is really consolidating
Yeah.
things. Like it runs on their Xbox runs this runs everything runs,
Which
they're
Xbox
really
has seamless integration with
right.
that as well.
So they're really consolidating their equipment,
yeah.
which is going to play into them, if not already, monetarily.
That is true.
So just because you're giving something away doesn't mean you're not money motivated.
yeah.
It's part of a strategy to do
Okay.
your thing. So I don't know. I don't know what their ultimate strategy is, but
I couldn't tell you.
but I'm happy with Windows 10. I think Windows 10 is a good operating system.
Better than Windows 8.
But that's not hard. Windows 7 was also a good operating system. I
Windows
liked
7 was good.
Um,
They seem to have an every other thing, so I'm hoping this every other thing breaks.
They may have just messed up on 11, right? According to their pattern.
Well, we'll see.
Although it was it was 7 that was good and 8 was bad, and that was an odd even thing. They were smart enough to skip 9, went right to 10. So I don't know how that
Why
was
were they
gonna
smart
work.
enough to skip 9?
I don't know, just like 10. Something about going from 8 to 10, just kind of like in the brain sets off a ping, just as different.
No, well, they had
So-
the versions are XP,
Yeah.
which was good. I'm not going all the way back, but XP was good.
Yeah, XP's really good.
And then Vista,
Yeah, well, Vista was not good.
and then 7,
7 was good.
and then 8,
8 was not good.
and then 8.1 or something like that was a whole new
Yeah, we're not sure
operating
why.
system, and we're just like,
Why?
And then 10,
10 was good.
and then 11.
We'll see. We'll see.
So if
I'd like to know.
if 11 works, that will break the every other cycle.
Right. I'd like to know what under the cover stuff they did
Mm.
that's different. How are they doing it differently? Like, better use of the graphics cards or something.
They did say that in Windows 11, Windows updates will only ever run as background processes.
Does that mean they're not? But okay, sort of okay, because will it still slow down my machine? Probably.
They say it's not supposed to, and they say it won't ever interrupt you and like randomly do a
Oh, good, because
restart.
that was one of the worst things. It's like, I'm in a hurry, and you turn your machine on, and it's like updated. I'm like, no! %1, no! It's like, no!
Or, heck, it would even do that if you didn't go into the settings and either turn off auto updates or purposefully schedule it. It would just be like, well, it's been 4 days since I warned you about needing to update,
I'm
so
just
I'm
gonna
just
do
going to
it."
update it now.
But it's like, yeah, no.
That was the worst thing about Windows 10.
Yeah, that was the bad thing about Windows 10. Yeah. So,
It's just
well,
like, no, stop.
that's a good fix.
I mean, because
That's-
there are still YouTube videos out there you can see where it's a group of people recording and someone just disconnects and they're like, what's going on? What happened? And then you get like them calling into the Discord on their phone or something. Yeah, my computer just started updating.
Ah! That's wrong. Wrong, I tell you. Wrong, people. Anyway. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Excited's not the right word. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Windows 11.
Yeah.
Any word on how they integrate Office with it?
I do not know.
Okay.
But I'm guessing it would be as integrated as Teams is.
Well, Teams. I mean, you said they're integrating Teams more.
Yeah.
That because Teams right now runs as a separate app, but
No, they're making it like part of it.
part of it. I wonder how that's going to play into it.
I don't know.
I'm a fan of Teams. We use Teams a lot at work. I've never used it before. It needs a little bit reorganization in it because sometimes it's just hard to find things or remember where things are. I'm not sure if that's how we've got it set up or if, in general, I like it.
Yeah.
In terms of how it functions, I've noticed some UI glitches on it where like icons don't appear,
Interesting.
things like that, and oh, this changed. What happened? Oh, they did an update, and now this information
Yeah.
is somewhere else. I'd like a little warning on that.
Let's see, I can read you this,
But not bad. Teams is not bad.
Start menu, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, great. Okay.
In the new start menu, you can find apps, recent documents, and separate search interfaces. Don't know what that means, is separate search
I
interfaces.
don't know.
Here's all the UI stuff that we can just kind of skip over. This new version of Windows 11 will also remember where your apps are stored,
Good. They all should.
which should, yes.
What's the problem?
Um,
Plus, you got to remember where they're stored. I don't get it. Sometimes I think the people that write these have never used a computer. It's like, what are you talking about?
Windows updates are 40% smaller and more efficient as they now happen in the background. Hopefully this means Windows 11 will not disturb you in the middle of work. Microsoft is also integrating Microsoft Teams directly into Windows 11 for consumers. Don't know what that specifically means, but
Yeah.
for consumers.
Aren't we all consumers?
Yes. Teams is integrated directly into the taskbar, allowing Windows 11 users to call friends, family, or coworkers. It's clear this is a big shift away from Skype, which was bundled as part of Windows 10. They have also added a universal mute button in the system tray, so you can easily mute your microphone for all apps.
That's kind of convenient. I only use one app at a time, so I'm not sure why. To use you can only use one app at a time to use the microphone, so I'm not sure why that
Maybe
matters.
they're changing that.
But where each app, how could you do that? That'd be interesting.
Well, no, because there are programs you can get that allow you to use your camera on multiple programs at once. Because it's an operating system thing.
It would have to, virtualize it. But yeah, okay, I mean, I can see that.
It's an operating system
Yeah, I can
that
see that.
is like, oh, you can only use your camera on one thing. That's why you have to go in and specifically say sometimes, do not allow
This app to use that camera.
do not allow this app to, or even with the microphone, with the audio.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have to go in and say, do not allow programs to take sole use of this audio output.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I would use or need a feature that two apps use the microphone at the same time. Can't think of one offhand, but
You're talking to one person that only uses Microsoft Teams and one person that only uses Discord at the same time. I don't know.
oh well, that's interesting. Hadn't thought of that. Okay, yeah, all right. Maybe that's interesting.
Oh, I know.
When?
The streaming.
Help me out.
We're streaming right now using that microphone.
We are.
OBS is using that microphone.
Yep.
If we have mouse hop on, Discord is using that microphone and OBS is using that microphone.
Right. Well, that's what you
So
said.
you can mute it for one,
Yep.
you can mute it for the other,
Yep.
or you could just hit the button on the
Yep.
computer and mute the whole thing.
No, that could be useful.
Or you
yeah.
can hit the button on the microphone and mute the whole thing. But
That could be useful.
like
Okay.
this,
Hi,
the
camera.
microphone that comes with this camera
Yeah.
doesn't have a universal mute button. So
Now, that
having
could be
a
interesting,
separate
okay.
universal mute button is not
That
a
could be
bad
useful,
idea.
Yep.
Also, I think by default,
Did they?
programs should not be allowed to just take sole use of cameras and microphones and audio stuff, because that's just stupid.
Did they give a time frame for when 11's coming out? I just said later this year.
They said as early as October, definitely by the holidays, because Microsoft announced that everyone with Windows 10 will be able to upgrade to Windows 11 for free during the holiday season.
Hope that goes well.
Me too.
Okay.
Unless it's like literally any multiplayer game launch where it's like, yeah, we
Yeah.
really buffed this all out, launched the game, all the servers
And all
crashed.
the servers crashed. It's like, I hadn't thought of that.
I guess we didn't expect that many people. How many
Right.
people did you expect? Been advertising this for a year.
It'll be interesting.
Widgets is a personalized feed powered by AI that builds on the widgets we've seen in Microsoft. We've seen Microsoft introduce in Windows 10. There's widgets in Windows 10.
I don't use them.
It slides in from the left-hand side of Windows 11, and you can also make it full screen. Built-in widgets include newsfeed, weather, and maps, and you can also program other
Oh, I
widgets.
might have it because a newsfeed popped up when they did a Windows update. Maybe I do it. Maybe there are widgets in 10. I just never noticed them.
I don't know.
I don't use them too much. Okay.
Also talking about improving all the gestures and how the touchscreen works to make it work better with pens and stuff, and how the graphics and processing works so it can
Any
run
voice
Xbox games.
Any voice recognition updates?
Yes, part of the pen update is handwriting recognition and audio to writing recognition.
Because, I've actually used the dictation feature.
Yeah.
It's not bad. If you go through the training, which takes like 10 minutes or something, it really can understand a lot of stuff you say just by talking naturally. As I was testing it out, I'm like, oh, you actually understand what I'm saying. How about this? How about now? Can you type this? You can. That's amazing. And it was actually getting it. And then you can put in punctuation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's like a list they have of special commands you can give to make it do certain things, like open a window or highlight a window or stuff like that. So it's not quite freeform where you just say anything and it understands you.
Right.
But it's getting better. I'm one of the few people who doesn't mind talking to their computer.
I do.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
No,
It's like, it's fine.
I still have all voice things turned off on this phone.
You think you do, but they're listening. They're always
Yes,
listening.
I know they're listening. I'm pretending it doesn't listen because every now and again it's like,
Watch
your
it.
microphone is not active. Do you want to activate it so that we can
Always
do what you
watch
asked?
it.
I was like, I didn't ask you to do anything, so no. I am glad it does that though. It has a little, don't have pop-ups when you think I'm talking to you button.
Yeah.
Because anytime I accidentally open what is it, like Bixby or whatever's on this phone or whatever, it always comes up with the setup screen. Or anytime I accidentally hit the the record button for like
comes up
texting or
setup
whatnot, it's like, do you want to set up Bixby to dictate texts?
No.
And I'm like, no.
So I don't mind. I've actually used the dictation feature a bit. I kind of like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't even have it set up. Like, my car can do it. Not.
Well, okay, now on Android I've tried it. It's just not that great. I've tried like Google when you're driving, give
Yeah.
command. Not there. It's just it doesn't understand context. It's just not there. I don't know if it's too noisy in the car for it or what
I
it
don't
is.
know.
But not impressed with like Google's voice command stuff. So.
All I know is that I'm not a fan of things listening to me, so I am never getting an Alexa.
Thus I will not listen to you anymore.
I'm not a fan of AI listening to me.
Alexa. Who makes Alexa?
Amazon.
Amazon makes Alexa. I'm not a fan of those smart house things either. Because it's like, what do they do?
You know what's really
Turn on the lights for me. Get a TV
funny?
station. I can do that. Do something useful. Go shopping.
well, they can
Do
have
the
it,
laundry.
they can have it do that
No.
with your money.
Yeah, well, no.
But-
Do the laundry. Clear the table. Do something useful for me. I don't want to order milk. Do something important.
So you want that PAL robot?
The pal from Mitchell's vs. Machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I'm interested in seeing what happens here.
Yeah, I'm rather interested in what they're introducing in 11. I'm also kind of interested in the fact that it's a whole new thing and not just an update to 10.
Not
'cause
10.1, right?
I thought they were gonna just update 10 for a while and not release an entire new operating system.
Well, maybe, this might just be a numbering thing, right? Maybe the marketing department said, no, don't call it 10.1 or 10.2, call it 11.
I guess.
Yeah.
But that
The
kind
numbers
of
don't really mean anything.
that implies
kind of
that there's some like background processes that they've updated, or the coding is slightly
It
different. or stuff
implies
like
a
that.
bigger change, but I think it's mostly marketing. That's my opinion.
Because honestly, Microsoft could just do what with how much the internet is now, they don't have to like give you a CD every time they update a Windows
Right.
version. So you could do it like Minecraft does and have 10.1, 10.2,
Good, yeah.
10.17, 10.18, you know?
Well, that's kind of what they did with all the Windows updates, right? They're
Yeah,
basically
but it's
giving
a big
you
long string of numbers.
right. But they're basically giving you 10.1, 10.2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think they just changed the numbering scheme.
But you could have a whole, like this is still Windows, but it's a, we updated the UI a bit here and there, I don't know. This is interesting.
What's our next topic? Do we have a next topic?
Yes, so
next topic?
our very last episode on Twitch, I asked you some philosophy questions.
Did I get them right?
You didn't answer them because we were closing the podcast at the time.
Oh, I remember
And
that.
we said, oh, we'll talk about this next week, and
Next
promptly
week
forgot.
never came. Yeah, we do
And
that
it's
often.
been
3 weeks at least.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
It's been 5 weeks, but I have the questions. I went back and found the questions, and I have the questions.
I'm ready.
All right. First question is in the title of the stream right there.
Do I like Windows 11? What do I think of Windows 11?
No, the one after that.
What is importance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question.
No, answer that.
I don't know. Next question.
Answer that.
I did.
No.
I said I don't know what it
It's
is.
not a philosophy conversation if you don't try and figure out what importance is.
Oh.
That's the whole point of the question.
Oh, I see. I thought I was supposed to be ignoring you again. What is it?
Welcome to the Rubber Mushroom, the Stream of Consciousness, the Rubber Mushroom podcast, where a father ignores his son for an hour.
What is importance? I feel like I should be wearing a smoking jacket and smoking a pipe while answering this question or something.
I have a pirate hat.
It's not the same. Not the same. What is importance?
And the whole reason for doing this...
I'm not sure what the word importance means.
Exactly. The whole reason for doing this, these 3 questions, was kind
We
of...
have 3 questions. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
The conversation we had before was talking about thought processes and trying to, how do you problem solve? How do you figure things out? How do you find definitions? And so the whole point of the questions that I asked you was to try and get you to vocalize how you're rationalizing what you might find, how you might find the answer.
Okay.
So,
what is it? I think to answer the question, what is importance, you have to ask another question.
which is?
Are you talking about absolute importance or relative importance?
Yes.
Because have you ever asked yourself, what's really important? Right? People ask that question. Okay, so that implies that we've got this concept of some things being more important than others, but we question it and go, okay, wait a minute, what's really important? Kind of implying what is of absolute importance. So I think when you're asking the question, what is importance, you have to ask, are you talking what is relative importance or what is absolute importance? For example, relative importance depends on the day. The car's broken, got to get it fixed. That's important that day. On a day when the car's working, that task isn't even on the radar, right? That's not important.
Yeah.
So are we talking relative importance or absolute importance? Because relative importance, it's whatever I need to do that day for whatever reason, I need to do it. It could be a pleasure reason, it could be a monetary reason, it could be a whatever. Absolute importance implies a little bit more. It's like, what is important regardless of anything else? What do you say, I have to take care of that regardless of whatever else is going on in my life? That's more of an absolute importance question.
Okay.
So I guess that's more of a fine-tuning of that question.
Well, no,
So
it's answering
it's kind of
that
the answer of the
question.
question. It's like,
That's kind of the
yeah.
answer of the question. What is
Yeah.
importance? And you just split it up into 2
Yeah.
things and define those 2 things.
well, there you go.
There you go. Follow-up question.
Ah,
What is important?
see the answer to question 1.
No.
Because what is important? Like, what is a thing that is important?
No, what is, to you,
Oh, Absolutely or relatively?
Yes.
Um,
How do you personally define those two things, and what do you put under those categories?
Well, okay.
What is it? What is important?
No, I get what you're saying. The answer to the first question was necessary in order to understand the answer to the second question.
Yes, which is why I started with that one.
Right. So, what is important? Well, to answer the relative part, it depends on my day. I've had days where I got to get this done because so and so's waiting for it, and I have a meeting at 10 with them, and not quite. That's important.
So,
right?
so
Something like that. But it changes by day. It changes by circumstance.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a construction project. There are certain things that I have to do.
Yeah.
And I'll put other things down to get those done because we've got to keep this moving.
Yeah.
But that's a relative importance thing.
Yeah.
Right. What's absolutely important, like what would I do or drop other things because it's got to be handled? Usually most relationship things will get my attention in that case. If you need me, if mom needs me, if somebody needs me or somebody needs something.
Yeah.
Okay, that now becomes an absolute importance. And I may have to slip on this project. I really got to go handle this or whatever.
Right.
So that's kind of how things get decided as to what has to be done. I would say the absolute ones are always there, but don't always show up. Like every day has a set of important things you have to do.
Yeah.
That's just the things you need to do that day.
Yeah.
Not every day has an absolute important thing in it.
I think you're wrong.
Those are kind of rare. I mean, or they're just intrinsically built into you. Maybe that's more what it is. Maybe they're intrinsically built into you. I have to do this. Yeah, that might be closer to the answer. There are some absolute important things that are intrinsically built in that almost don't go noticed or don't get noticed because they're just there. It's kind of like breathing. It's like we got to do this. So I think that's the end of my answer.
I find it very interesting. There's a couple things I've noticed.
That I use my hands when I talk.
Well, I do that too. I get that from you. Something I've noticed is that pretty much everything you've just mentioned revolves around tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Which implies that to you, one of your absolute important, something that is under that, what is important absolutely for you, is completing tasks.
Not necessarily completing.
Or doing tasks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of doing in that.
Yeah, I am a doer. That's true.
Another thing that I've noticed is that all of your...
But I want to qualify that when you're done.
Okay, all of your... what do you have? You had the absolute and you had the... Relative. All of your relatives have an absolute in them. The examples that you gave for the relative of this is important this day, this is important this day, you know, especially with work and stuff like that, the relative that's behind them is...
You mean the absolute that's behind
them? The absolute that's behind them is doing something for somebody. There seems to be an absolute importance in your mind is if you're doing a task for someone, doesn't necessarily have to be one day, but it is of absolute importance to get that done. Which kind of transcends the relative importance. It can look like a relative importance here, but it is more of an absolute importance.
Well, I think they're related.
Definitely.
I think
definitely.
It's impossible to separate them completely.
Okay.
But let me clarify the doing thing a bit. It's hard, in a physical universe, it's hard to do anything that's not a do.
That is true.
Even sitting with someone and talking with them to help them overcome a problem is a do.
Yes.
So a do doesn't have to be hammering two things together or constructing something. But helping a person reconstruct their life or work through a problem, that's a do.
Yeah.
So, but not all people see it as a do.
That is also true.
So when you say... there's a lot of do in there. I just want to clarify that. Yeah, there is, but almost everything turns into a do the way I define a do. So, yeah. But I think you're right to some extent. I mean, I think every task has an absolute in it because ultimately you're always asking the question why,
Yeah.
why, until you get down to a return
Yep.
and something says because.
Yep.
Right? So if I've got to do a task, I've got to do it for somebody, even if it's for me, even if it's for God, even if it's for whoever, you're doing it for somebody.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're doing it for nobody, including not yourself,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Even if you do something for enjoyment, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're doing it because someone else enjoys it.
Also
Or,
true.
So, yeah.
Yep. I will say though, I think there are some absolute importances that are not dues.
Okay, like one. Maybe I like
Humans.
one. Humans are absolute importance. What about them?
Their existence.
Their existence is important. Yeah.
And that's not really a due, that's more of a concept.
Well, yes.
But I think it is a very important concept and a very important thing to just kind of keep.
It is. No, it totally is. I
Obviously,
agree.
you need to do anything with a human.
And that's what I was going to bring up. It's like, yes, okay, a human is important in itself. But what does that mean? Well, okay, it's important, but I can't do anything about that.
Well, you're trying to take it back to the do again.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes importances transcend the do, and
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can
You
agree,
know.
definitely, I can agree with that because I mean, people have an importance just because they're people.
right.
They have a value, an intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Which,
an importance.
Whether or not you do something with them or for them or whatnot, they have an importance.
they have an
right
important, they
there.
have an intrinsic value.
Yeah.
An important. Yes, totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Now the question is, what do I consider importance? I consider that important, but it doesn't always affect me, like sort of thing.
But I don't think things that are important should always affect you.
They don't.
Exactly.
They just are, whether they affect me or not. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Ah, missed. I could feel my finger miss. Is that 2 questions or 3?
That was 2.
That was 2. We got a third one?
We got a
Okay,
third
what's
one.
the third one?
Why do you like music?
That implies I do.
Well, obviously you like it at least a small amount enough to learn how to play it. There is something about music that obviously you like, otherwise you wouldn't listen to it,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't try and create it.
Music is, I don't know, there's something, and everybody will tell you this, there's something inherent in humans when it comes to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You hear that and you just start going, want to do something.
Yeah.
Why do we do that as humans? I'm not sure anybody knows. Right? I don't know why we do that. Some would go back to evolutionary roots and go, well, it's basic tribal.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Whatever you want to do with that. Humans can remember things when they're put to music. There's something about music, like you memorize a song, easy. You want to memorize something difficult, put it to music, right? And you remember it. So there's something about that. I've never been particularly musically inclined, as the world is finding out. But the reason I started playing an instrument was actually because I want to keep my mind active, and in researching how to do that, learned the best way to keep your mind active is to teach it things it's never done. Because we tend to learn along certain lines, and then our mind gets used to thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
So if you've always been a drawer and all you do is draw, an artist, all you do is draw or paint, you're used to going along those lines. Do something away from that. Do something mechanical. Or do something that gets your... I've always been a non-artsy person.
Yeah.
And so music seemed to be something my mind isn't used to doing. And I felt it would help a little bit. Like, I've never been athletically inclined. And studying martial arts for the last 15 years has totally... I could feel it affect my whole being because I never did that before. It just didn't go that route. So I think I'm hoping music will have kind of the same effect if I keep it up and give my mind other things to do, other pathways to forge and stuff like that. And I'm amazed that I actually can learn it. Mostly. Yeah.
You're learning.
I'm learning.
You
I'm
said
getting
you're
better.
perfect. You said
Yep.
you just said you were learning.
I'm learning.
So maybe this is just a sense of me overthinking things.
Probably.
Because I tend to go really deep into the whys a lot of times, which is why I'm asking these questions. But I'm curious, have you ever thought about why you specifically enjoy music? What is it about music, or even like a
Depends.
specific
Yes.
genre?
Yes. You know what kind of music I really like listening to is boogie woogie on the piano.
Really?
I love listening to boogie woogie music. I don't know why. Maybe because of the speed, maybe because of the complexity of it. Maybe classical music is okay, but it kind of gets, I don't know, doesn't excite me. But that particular type of piano music I like, and banjo picking music.
That's fun.
I like banjo
That's very,
picking
very
music.
fun.
Yeah. Those are the two I can enjoy. I just like listening to them.
Yeah.
I just. Oh, that and a cappella singing.
That's really cool.
When harmonies go together, I
Yeah.
can't do it. I can't come anywhere near it. But my brain can find it and go, that's pretty.
Yep. Yep. I'd say something very, very similar to the boogie woogie music. I find myself always immensely enjoying swing,
Swing is good.
because when you're listening to swing, you know exactly what you're gonna get. It's gonna be upbeat. It's gonna be happy. It's going to, a lot of times, have a big band feel. There's going to be a lot of layers.
big bands,
There's going to be a lot of stuff like that. And I just find that super, super intriguing and just so fun to listen to. And it's something like swing, you can't really be down in listening to swing music.
Come in.
I've come to interrupt with ice cream.
Yay!
Yay!
You didn't ask for any, so you don't get any.
Yay! Thank you!
It's grasshopper pie. I really don't know what that means.
Grasshopper pie.
But that's what the flavor was called.
It's like Crunchy
Ooh.
Frog.
Now it's like a mint something.
Toenail moon? Or toenail chip?
Oh, that was one, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, no.
That's from that old Arthur game.
It was. That was a while ago.
Toenail chip ice cream.
Yep.
That was always so confusing to me. I'm like, why would you want to eat toenails?
But it was an option, so you gotta pick it at least once, see what this is.
Right. Alright, have fun.
Thanks.
Where were we?
Swing music.
Right, swing music.
Yeah, there's something just about swing music that I totally get what you say with the boogie woogie
Yeah, I
music
just like
and
it.
stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
just like it.
Kind of a little bit of tangent off that.
Yeah.
I've been super, super enjoying electro swing,
Okay.
which is a combination of classic swing and EDM, which is electric dance music.
Okay.
So you kind of combine them. You
Right,
have that
okay.
electric sound
Yeah.
with the classic swing, trumpets and
Yeah.
stringed instruments
Yeah.
and stuff. It's so fun. It is so, so, so fun. And I can't do this because I am not talented enough. I'm nowhere near good. I can't even play the piano. But Boogie Woogie might be similar to this. Is Boogie Woogie and Ragtime, are they similar?
Yeah, similar.
I would like that combined with rock.
Yeah, I can't help you there. I wouldn't know what
But
to do
honestly,
with
I think that'd be so. You get some ragtime piano
that.
and a rock song.
Yeah.
That would sound so good. I think that'd be really cool.
I
I think
you're
that'd
right.
be really,
Maybe
really
you're
cool
right.
because it'd still be all acoustic, mostly
Yeah.
acoustic, as
Yeah.
acoustic as you can get with an electric guitar.
Right.
But you get that super upbeat ragtime and like that classical piano kind of vibe
Mhm.
in with that. If anybody listening, if you want kind of an example of what this is, and if you want an example of kind of what I'm thinking of, the song "Build Our Machine" by DA Games.
Okay.
It's about a video game, but the instrument makeup of that is very much a heavy metal with a very heavy 40s ragtime piano
Okay.
for the melody. And it is so good. It's it's just made so well. I love it. And I really wish there was more like that, but I don't really know any other songs that do it besides that long song, but I really wish that was just like a whole genre.
Apparently. It's a genre of one song. Can you have a genre of one thing in it? I don't think it works that way. The genre?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really, really cool. Yeah, those are my philosophy questions that
Okay, well,
are
thank you. Those were interesting.
5 weeks late.
Those were interesting. Those were interesting.
And now can do a live test of what was this, grasshopper? Is that what she said it was?
I believe she did. Grasshopper toenail, something like that. So how many people are in our listening audience?
I don't know. YouTube doesn't like updating things.
Oh, fabulous. We got one like. Hey, we got a like.
That's cool.
One like. Someone out in the universe likes us. Or they hit the wrong button. Tough to tell.
That tastes pretty good.
I'm sure. I'm going to be eating a lot of ice cream next week.
The annoying thing about YouTube and their like system,
Yeah?
I don't know if they changed this from last I looked. The last I looked, you can't unlike something.
You can on Facebook.
Yes.
So you can only like it on YouTube, you can't unlike.
Well, you can like it,
Yeah.
and the only way to take off that like is I think you can go, if you somehow find your liked videos playlist, you may be able to go remove it from that playlist. I don't know if that actually removes the like, but it will remove it from the liked playlist that it makes.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only way I know to actually remove a like
Mhm.
is to hit the dislike button. And then it moves the like to a dislike. But you can't remove that dislike unless you hit like.
Well, you can neither like nor dislike, though. That should be an option.
If you don't click anything,
Well, what if I made a mistake?
too bad.
Well, that could be good, because that means we're stuck with that like. Even if someone made a mistake. We have at least one like. Okay, I'm all right. I'm okay with that. You can't undo it. Ha! If you made a mistake, wherever you are.
I just think it's hilarious that the most disliked video on YouTube is a video by YouTube.
What's it about?
That's one of the YouTube rewinds that they did.
Ah.
And it was just
Badly done?
very, very badly done. You know how...
That's funny. What is the most disliked video? I hadn't thought of that.
You know how sometimes corporate companies will be like, ooh, people really, really like that.
Mhm.
So we're going to try and exactly replicate that. So this new thing people also really, really like.
Never works.
Exactly.
Works, yeah.
That's what happened with YouTube Rewind. YouTube, they were like, ooh, this and this worked super, super well. Let's double down on that.
Now, what's actually a rewind?
What it's supposed to be
Yeah.
is just kind of a playback through all of the popular or influential videos that were on YouTube for the last year.
Oh, okay.
And that's what it started out as.
Okay.
And then the last couple years, they actually didn't even do one. I think 2019 was the last one they did. They just outright canceled it. I don't even know if they're going to bring it back.
Why did they stop?
Well, because the last 2 years, they went, oh, okay, this is super popular, this is super popular, this is super popular. Let's have these people do these exact things. So it was just really, really bad writing, really bad acting. They tried to diversify, let's get a diverse group of people in here. So, people who have been on YouTube for years and years and years are like, oh, cool, I'll finally get some recognition. It's like, oh, no, we're going to take this really, really obscure YouTuber that has grown in popularity in the last month and have him be on here. And so
wait a minute. So it was.
So a good portion of these videos,
Yeah.
very few people recognized more than like a third of the people in them. One person might recognize one third, somebody else could recognize another third, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't recognize each other's third.
Okay.
It went from a collage of videos and little dance sets and things like that to just kind of be like, oh, here's all these really cool things,
Okay.
to just recreating challenges that happened and having some really poorly acted, scripted scenes. And
Wouldn't it just have been better to take the videos that were out there and viewed a lot and put them into a collage?
that's what a lot of people did in 2019.
Yeah.
And those videos got like 3 times as many views as the official YouTube Rewind,
So instead,
which is why they canceled it.
so the YouTube Rewind was trying to get people to reenact things.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you, and you, all relatively big names. I recognize like 2 of the people out of the 5 that were super, super big. And they were like sitting around a campfire, reminiscing about the last year. It's like, oh wow, what was really, oh, this was really popular, and then like flash over to that, and then they go back to the campfire, and I was like, oh, you know what also was really popular? K-pop, and it would go over to K-pop and have like a collage. It was like, that was like the longest section was K-pop. I don't watch K-pop. I'm not interested in K-pop. I do not want my YouTube Rewind to be 20% K-pop.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, having these people, you know, like overreact to, you know, whoa, it's a experiment that the slow-mo guys did. We're just gonna, instead of get slow-mo guys, we're gonna recreate it and have these 2 people overreact to that thing. It's like, it's pretty much corporate going, ooh, that worked, let's do that, put it all together, people will love it. It's like, no, you kind of missed the whole point of what people liked.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't know what that was.
But if you go back and watch some of the original ones, like in 2014, 2015, those are really, really fun.
Now, were they also scripted? And
They were scripted, yes, but not scripted with lines.
how else do you script?
Scenes. Like there was a scene in I think it was 2018 or something that was super, super cool. It got a bunch of the gamer community, had a bunch of the big streamers and video makers in that community, and over like popular music or whatnot, they had a bunch of them pretty much dress up as horror games from that year. And they had these 2 or 3 guys kind of going through and running into these things and, you know, changing from animated to
That's weird.
live action.
Okay.
But it was kind of here's just a bunch of people. There was no talking, and it was just overlaid with music.
Okay.
But it's here's creators you know, here is games you know, and here is just, you know, a fun thing that they're doing together.
Okay.
And that's what people like seeing.
Okay. But they got they thought too much.
Yes. Instead of having a simple, let's have these guys be in a scene and just, you have a cameo and you have a cameo and you have a cameo.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was literally a video of cameos.
Okay.
And now it's a video of you're hosting and you're doing this and this challenge is happening here and you gotta mention this and this and this and this. And it just got really...
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. Moving on.
Well, I think that's where we end.
Oh, we're done?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
That was our conversation about Windows 11, philosophy, and YouTube Rewind, apparently.
Apparently.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 24 of the Stream of Consciousness.
Wow, 24.
24?
Amazing.
We will not be back next week
Why not?
because 4th of July. Instead of the podcast, we're doing a 4th of July party in Minecraft.
Right.
Streaming, probably here, definitely on Twitch. So, stay tuned for that.
Forgot about that. Yes.
It's gonna happen.
Yes, we are.
No actual like podcast, but we will be hanging out with a lot of people. There'll be fireworks, there'll be games, there'll be just randomness. We'll be just hanging out for an hour. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to get notified when the next stream goes live, the next podcast goes live, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.